My life had been tied to the hawthorn since I was a child. From the age of 12, my path was set in stone, leaving absolutely no space for my own decisions. At 15, I was sent to live with them for a time. By 18, I chose a college major I had no interest in, simply to satisfy the expectations of both my parents and theirs. At 20, I married Elena. By 23, Elena gave birth to Mia, and the responsibility of raising her fell entirely on my shoulders. In just 10 years, my existence had become inextricably knotted with the Hawthorne family. We were two people with zero romantic affection for one another, glued together by a family arrangement that offered no escape. Elena, let's get a divorce. It was the middle of the night when I said it. She looked up, annoyed. What is wrong with you now? This was the second time I had brought up the subject of divorce, and just like the first time, Elena responded with harsh, biting words. Over the past decade, she had always maintained a veneer of politeness. Even after we were married, that formal courtesy never cracked. We were supposed to be husband and wife, but it never felt that way. We were more like business partners fulfilling the terms of a signed agreement. In reality, that is exactly what our marriage license was. A contract. I'm not joking around, I said, keeping my voice steady. I am serious. I can't live like this anymore. Elena, please, just let me go. My calm tone seemed to irritate her, but this time, instead of snapping back, she paused. She knelt down in front of me, her expression shifting. Tell me, Barb, what did I do to make you unhappy? She asked patiently, using the same tone she always used. It felt like she was just trying to pacify a child. It's not about you, I replied. I just don't want this life anymore. Here is the divorce agreement. Read it over and see if there is anything you want to add. If not, please just sign it. Our daughter is still young, she said. Let's not make this ugly. As I spoke, I took the paperwork I had already prepared out of the drawer and handed it to her. Elena didn't even glance at the pages before tossing them to the side. Her face darkened visibly, and her voice lost its practiced gentleness. Arthur, you know Mia is too young to be without a father. Just tell me what it is you want. As long as it is something I can give you, I will. Please. Oh, stop doing this. What if I want your heart? I asked. Would you give me that? I said it with a faint, sad smile, watching her expression shift. As I expected, Elena's face revealed her immediate discomfort, and her voice lost its firmness. If we divorce, she deflected, who gets custody of Mia? You pick first, I said, or let her decide. I have always been the one accepting decisions made by others, and this time is no different. I want to be with Mom. Mia's voice came suddenly from behind me. I turned around to see her standing by the stairs, rubbing her sleep-filled eyes. She already knew who she wanted. Noticing I wasn't moving, Elena stood up and walked over to pick Mia up. Sorry, honey. Did we wake you? She comforted our daughter gently, patting her back while casting a smug, triumphant look in my direction. Mia. Huh? Since you're up, tell me, if you could only choose one parent to live with, who would it be? I already knew the answer, but I couldn't stop myself from asking one last time. I want Mom, Mia answered without a second of hesitation. To say I wasn't hurt would be a lie, but I didn't feel any anger. I just walked over and ruffled her hair. All right then, I will respect your choice. When I'm not around, listen to your mom and your grandparents, okay? I sent her back to bed. Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Mia understood the situation and didn't linger. She hopped down from her mother's lap and walked back to her room. Watching her small frame retreat down the hall felt like my heart was bleeding out. But there was no turning back now. This was my only chance at freedom. So, are there any other issues now that Mia is settled? Elena asked. None. Just don't regret this. Finish your tantrum and come back to bed soon, Elena said, signing her name on the paper without even reading the contents. She then headed upstairs to the guest room. It was both funny and tragic that, even at this stage, she thought I was just acting out. I couldn't sleep. Under the bright moonlight, I went out into the yard and looked up at the sky. The brightest star seemed to be winking at me. I smiled, and it was a genuine smile. 15 years of my prime had been controlled by others since my father passed away. Nothing I did was ever my own choice. Now, finally, I was free. Dad would be proud, right? By the next morning, Mia had already gone to school. Surprisingly, Elena hadn't left for work yet. She was sitting at the dining table, as if waiting for me. "Morning. You're up," she said. "Have some milk first. Breakfast will be ready in a minute." She put down her newspaper and stood up, looking like the picture of a caring wife waiting for her husband to wake up. This version of Elena felt completely foreign to me. I glanced at the glass of milk in my hand, but didn't drink it. "I'll skip breakfast. Since you have some free time today, let's go finalize the paperwork." Elena looked annoyed, but didn't argue. She grabbed her coat and walked out the door. I picked up the documents I had prepared and followed her. Getting divorced turned out to be more complicated than getting married, but soon enough, it was all sorted. Holding the dark red folder in my hands, I felt a massive weight lift off my chest. On the drive back, Elena was driving again. This time I chose to sit in the back seat. After a silence that felt like it lasted forever, she spoke up while looking in the rearview mirror. "If you are angry because I forgot our wedding anniversary, I am sorry. That was my mistake. I won't try to defend myself, and I promise it won't happen again." I didn't respond. And honestly, I didn't feel anything. Yesterday was our anniversary, and my 28th birthday. Elena hadn't remembered either one. Late that night, she had finally come home, stumbling in and waking me up. I had quickly helped her to the couch and poured her a glass of water. "Sorry for waking you," she had said. I thought the apology was for coming home late and missing our special day, but she didn't mention those things at all. I knew she had totally forgotten. "Was tonight's client difficult to deal with? Why did you drink so much?" I asked while helping her with her coat, trying to get a read on the situation. Typically, I didn't ask about her work, but that night I really wanted to know what kept her so busy. Maybe she didn't expect the question. Elena looked a little uneasy, but explained patiently. "Luckily, it was just a night out with friends. You should head to bed. I'm going to wash up. And don't wait up for me in the future. Just go to sleep if you're tired." After saying that, regardless of whether I agreed or not, she got up and went upstairs. "Elena, let's get a divorce." I said it calmly from the back seat, not moving. That made her freeze. Her sudden pause brought my thoughts back to the present. Without delaying any further, I went upstairs to grab my things. It wasn't much. Just a few documents packed into a small suitcase, exactly like when my mother sent me to the Hawthorns all those years ago. Elena caught up with me just as I was about to walk out the door. She looked a bit panicked, trying to block my path. "Arthur, what are you doing? Where are you going?" I looked closely at this woman I had been with for nearly a decade. It felt like the first time I was really seeing her. "I'm moving out, obviously. You didn't think I would stay here for lunch, did you?" Maybe it was my harsh tone or a specific word that struck a nerve, but her expression darkened. "What about the child?" How ironic. Even now, she was trying to use our child to keep me in line. She must have forgotten that just last night, our daughter had already chosen her. It is all clearly stated in the divorce papers. "Custody goes to you. I am leaving with nothing. Did you forget, Elena, or did you just not care to read it?" "Elena, thank you for your care over the years as a couple. Let's part ways here. Unless something unexpected happens, we probably won't see each other again. In my life, I never asked you for anything. Today, as a father, I am asking you this one last thing. No matter what happens in the future, whether you start a new family or not, please treat Mia well. Don't let her end up like us." After I finished speaking, I didn't look back at Elena's grim face. I started walking downstairs with my bag. "Where are you going? I'll drive you," she said, coming after me as I reached the door and offering to take my bag. I skillfully dodged her hand. "No need, I've already called a car." "Atiu. Don't forget to pick up Mia tonight." Thinking of my child made my heart ache. I had raised her myself, after all. From the day she was born, I was the one who took care of her. But no matter how much effort I put in, she still favored Elena. In every choice, she always picked her mother. Last night I had booked a ticket to fly to City N today, which was my father's hometown. After he passed away and my grandparents died, I never went back. I didn't even know if it was still the same as I remembered. After losing my dad at 12 and being sent to the Hawthorns at 15, I followed the path laid out for me. At 20, I married Elena, then watched as she gave birth, and I raised the child. Through all of this, nobody ever asked if I was willing. For 8 years, I was the perfect husband, son-in-law, and father. No matter where I was, people praised me as a model to follow. My success was half due to my dad's influence and half due to Elena's father's guidance. I was the ideal candidate for the Hawthorns' son-in-law. Every action seemed meticulously measured. Yet, despite my perfection, I never won my wife's heart or gained respect from her family. I was always seen as an outsider. Even the child I painstakingly raised from birth saw me as second to her mom. All along I knew Elena had a longtime boyfriend, Julian. He was a guy from a small southern town, handsome and bright, the ideal type for any woman. Unfortunately, his background didn't meet the Hawthorns' standards. The main issue was that he had a rebellious streak that didn't sit well with Elena's father. Later, who knows what Elena's dad did, but the two broke up amicably, and soon after, the boy went abroad to study. After that, I was brought into the Hawthorns' orbit. Elena's father was meticulous about social standing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been chosen at such a young age. My family, the Carters, was on par with theirs financially, and my nature was calm. I never challenged my elders. After joining the Hawthorns, besides school, I learned to become the perfect son-in-law for their prestigious family. Doing well meant smiles from Elena's dad. Failing was met with a look that could kill. At 18, at a business event, I finally impressed Elena's father, earning his applause for the first time. His attitude changed, becoming less stern. On my 20th birthday, Elena and I registered our marriage, and I thought it would mark the start of my happiness. At 23, Elena, fresh out of college, I gave birth to Mia, the first granddaughter in the Hawthorn family for 3 generations. From then on, I had a solidified position in the family, and I securely held the role of the son-in-law. Back then, I was just discovering the bittersweet nature of love. Even though I knew Elena loved someone else, I still dreamed of growing old with her. So I pinned my hopes on Mia. Like my father, I gave all my love to her without holding back. But you see, the human heart is not easily tested. No matter how well I taught her, it couldn't compete against the strong Hawthorn genes. The child I loved so much eventually didn't love me back. Just like her mother, she saw me as someone she could boss around without fearing I would leave. Bringing my thoughts back to the present, the plane landed softly. Many years had passed, and City N was no longer how I remembered it. My father's hometown was a quaint, rainy village about an hour's drive from the city center. I didn't linger long. I called a rideshare car and headed straight to the village. In the south, it often drizzles. Soon a light rain began, and the driver drove more cautiously. The driver chatted warmly with me. As I tend to get carsick, I only chatted here and there, making the time pass not too slowly. We soon arrived at the destination. The kind driver noticed I was not a local, helped with my luggage, and gave me advice. "Young man, take care when you are out on your own. Be cautious, avoid empty places, don't ride in strangers' cars, and have fun." "Thanks, I will. Also, I'm not an outsider. I grew up here," I replied. His warmth touched my heart. Sometimes. It was the first time in many years anyone had genuinely cared for me. I wasn't lying. I did grow up here. Most of our time was spent here before my dad passed. Only at 10 did we move back to the city. Instead of heading to my dad's old house, I booked a stay at a local inn. Here the wind smells sweet, the rain feels warm, my heart is light, and I am free. I wandered around until late at night before returning to my room. That night I was no one's husband or father, just me, just Arthur. I slept wonderfully, forgetting how long it had been since I slept that well. Unexpectedly, I woke up to over 10 missed calls and countless unread messages. I thought something might have happened, but seeing that familiar number pained me. Elena, who hardly contacted me in 7 years of marriage, almost blew up my phone overnight after the divorce. I didn't return the call or check the messages, as I was about to visit my grandparents' graves and didn't want to get tangled up in drama. Before I could eat breakfast, Mia called. I couldn't harden my heart against her. "Hey, Dad, where are you? You promised to be with me for the family activity today. What do I do without you?" I thought she missed me, but no, it was the usual criticisms and complaints. The warmth in my heart turned cold, and my voice lost its softness. "Mia, listen. From the moment you chose your mom, your guardian wasn't me anymore. Your mom and I are divorced, and I have left the city. For anything else, ask your mom or your grandparents. Don't look for me. I'm not seeing you again," she cried the moment I finished speaking. "Mom, I told you Dad's not coming back. He doesn't want me. It's all your fault." "Anna, Mom!" I hung up before hearing more. With Elena and the Hawthorns, Mia would be fine. She would eventually forget me and move on. We had chosen our paths. If you don't decisively move on, you will only suffer more. I couldn't soften my heart again. In the following days, the Hawthorns didn't call, nor did I check on them. I simply sent my mom a short message with a picture of the divorce papers. I changed my number, deleted my social accounts, and started the life I had always wanted. For nearly 30 years, I lived for the Carters and the Hawthorns. From now on, I only wanted to be myself. Leaving City N, I went to City X, the place my dad and I had promised to visit. They say it is the closest place to heaven. Dad once wanted to come here to pray for my grandparents. Now I was here to pray, while Dad had become eternal. Dad. "Oh, I made it to City X for us. You must have found Grandpa and Grandma by now, right?" "Dad, I've got a secret to tell you. I'm free now, no longer trapped. Dad, I'll live well this life. If there is a next life, I still want to be your son. Just not a child of the Carter family. Dad, please tell Grandpa and Grandma I was home a few days ago. Everything is fine, just less lively without you all. Dad, I must go. I don't know where yet, but I'm not going back. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Goodbye, Dad." With deep reverence and ritual prayers, I hung prayer flags and spun prayer wheels, fulfilling my dad's wish. That night I dreamt of my grandparents and Dad. They looked at me lovingly, smiling. As before, Dad patted my head and congratulated his boy for escaping hardships. Just sweetness ahead. Take care alone. Live bravely. If you miss Dad, just look up at the sky. The smiling cloud, the brightest star. That's me watching you. Child, we are born as independent individuals. Don't grieve over someone not worth it. Don't hold grudges. Look forward, walk forward, don't look back. In my dreams, I was smiling and happy, but when I woke up, my pillow was already soaked with tears. This was the first time I had dreamed of my father since I got married. I guess he was pretty disappointed in me back then, which is why he didn't visit me. Now I had bravely said goodbye to the past and seen my father again. His long-winded advice showed his reluctance to leave and his deep love. I packed my bags, ready for my next journey. Elena came. It had been about 20 days since I last saw her. She dressed the same, all in black, but it seemed like she had aged overnight. Oh, right, she had bad altitude sickness. "Have you had enough fun? Let's head home." I felt a bit sorry for her at first, but as soon as she spoke those words, those feelings vanished. If you are sick, get treated. If you are out of your mind, get a new head. The Hawthorns have the resources, you'll figure it out. All you talk about is fun. Since when did you see me having fun? Anyway, our relationship now is barely acquaintances. Elena, you are overstepping. I was already annoyed that she found my itinerary, and she still came with an arrogant attitude, without any respect. I was looking for a way to vent, and she came at the perfect time. No, I didn't mean that. I am sincerely here to take you home. I'm sorry. I take back what I just said. Elena was clearly flustered when she saw me getting angry, and started to fumble over her words. Then, I didn't want to drag it out with her, and I didn't want anyone to see the drama, so I tried to talk it out, calmly. Elena, I'll say it one more time. We are done. Go back to wherever you came from and don't bother me again. Your altitude sickness is serious. This isn't where you should be. Go back. I need to go too. Every word I said was honest. I did love Elena, but it was in the past. When she missed the child's birth, the 100-day celebration, and our first anniversary, I stopped having any hopes. Once I decide to end things, there is no turning back. I had been fair to the Carters and the Hawthorns. From now on, I needed to live for myself. Arthur, Mia misses you a lot. She cries looking at your pictures every day. For the sake of the kid, will you come back with me? Seeing I wasn't swayed, Elena started using the kid to play on my emotions, speaking unusually tenderly. But she forgot Mia was the one who didn't want me around anymore. From beginning to end, it was her own choice. She needs her mom more than she needs me as a dad. In time, she will forget about me. Go back. Don't come here again. Elena had probably never been treated so coldly. Added to her severe altitude sickness, she couldn't handle it and collapsed. After taking Elena to the hospital, I didn't stick around. Luckily, her assistant had often helped her with errands over the years, so leaving a number finally came in handy. I first met Elena when I was 17. She had just broken up with a guy, and I caught the fleeting emotion in her eyes when she saw me. She was incredibly good to me. Just how good? She would do anything for me, respected me. So right? And would bail me out when her father gave me a hard time. But on our engagement day, Elena clearly told me there was no love, just duty. Arthur, we got here because of family expectations and an arranged marriage. I will respect you and be responsible, but I don't love you. We are family, not lovers. Though technically an adult, I was already caged by constraints, unable to resist. Blankly, I got engaged and headed off to college. Everything that happened after just fell into place naturally, pleasing both families, everyone except me. In the years after marriage, Elena indeed gave me respect and was responsible for me. After Mia was born, our bond naturally turned into family love. I was the dad, she was the mom. We played a harmonious couple in front of the kid, an affectionate one in front of others. People saw us as a perfect match. A power couple, a union of equals. Such high praise was a strong shackle that bound me for nearly a decade. Had Elena's lies not been so blatant, I might have continued living in oblivion. But the final straw that broke us wasn't anyone else. It was Elena herself. I resolved to divorce because she lied too many times. That night, Elena came home reeking of alcohol. Whether she did it on purpose, I don't know. But that aroma at her collar and the men's cologne weren't mine. It was telling me loud and clear I should step aside. Elena showing up threw my plans completely off. I had to rethink everything. Instead of returning to City N, I chose to stay in a beach town I loved. I needed time to unwind and think about my next steps. For a long time, I had this obsession with going to grad school. I wanted to be a highly educated, knowledgeable man like my father. But being a husband and father took so much of my time. The Hawthorns' events required me, their son-in-law, to attend too. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, 5 or 6 years went by. Thankfully, I never stopped learning during those years. Mom would deposit money into my account every month. While staying home with the kids, I made some investments that did well enough to support myself. But I didn't want to be a failure. I wanted to push for my own worth. 3 months before the divorce, I aced my language exams. And recently, I received a grad school offer from a university I dreamed of. Next, I would head to a new country, go back to school, and start anew. 3 days before leaving, I made a sneaky trip back to the city to share my happiness and say goodbye to my mom. And because I couldn't let go of that child who once thought the world of me. I just wanted to see if Mia was doing okay in the end. Even if she doesn't love me, I hope she can live a happy and fulfilling life. That year, fresh out of college, I moved back home. Elena was pregnant, and living with the Hawthorns for a few months was incredibly stifling for me. Once Mia was born, Elena and I moved away from the main estate. Her dad was always around to see his granddaughter, but otherwise, he focused on his career and social life. As soon as I was up and about, I took care of the baby and the household. I was busy but hardly ever felt tired. Watching our child grow every day filled me with contentment. But since she started kindergarten 2 years ago, Mia had been spending more and more time with the Hawthorns. Sometimes staying there for 3 to 5 days at a stretch. My once clingy kid started becoming distant. To her, her grandparents were loving. Her mom was hard-working and amazing. And me? I was the one who was never serious. The strict one. I remember the day 6 months ago when I first mentioned divorce to Elena. She dropped her usual gentle demeanor and accused me of being idle and making trouble. The daughter I had pampered from the start stood against me. She said, "Dad, you are being too much. Mom dotes on you, goes along with everything you say, and takes care of everything in and out of the house, all while you laze around like a bum living a life of luxury. What more do you want?" That was the first time I had seen those looks of disdain and disgust on a child so young. Exactly those 2 words. Mia stared at me like I was a stranger, not a hint of love or admiration. In the months that followed, Mia showed me how she felt. Whenever Elena wasn't home, she would stay at the old place, telling me not to bother picking her up unless it was urgent. What finally made me give up on her was her choice that one night. 5 is not 3. She is aware, and maybe somewhere in her mind, she thinks her dad can't give her the life she wants. So our father-daughter bond? It is done. This time she won't know I was here. I only want to see her one more time, remember what she looks like. From now on, we will both live our own lives. I disguised myself and went straight to Mia's kindergarten. Before coming, I secretly reached out to her teacher, Mr. Evans, to explain the situation. Entering the campus was a breeze. Mia's dad. Mia has not been herself lately. In class, she just stares off into space. The bubbly, lively kid she was has been so unusually quiet recently. It is almost scary, Mr. Evans noted. He is around my age and popular with the kids. He even pulled up the security footage to show me what Mia had been up to. Some stuff has happened at home recently. She might need some time to adjust. Please keep an eye on her, and if anything comes up, let her mom or grandparents know right away. Also, please keep my visit today between us. Don't tell anyone, not even Mia. I am on a business trip and she can't know. I didn't mention the divorce. Both families weren't your average kind, and the entanglement of interests was intricate. I didn't need extra trouble right now. Through the monitors, I saw Mia wasn't lying. She seemed a bit down, as Mr. Evans said, but I wasn't self-centered enough to think it was because of me. Even though Mia is Elena's daughter, except for a little dimple when she smiles, she is the spitting image of Elena in every other way. Serious, almost like a little old soul. But smiling, she is like a breeze of fresh air. Those Hawthorne genes run strong. The women are gorgeous, the men are handsome, and their IQ is off the charts. Only hitch? Their emotional intelligence is pretty low unless they care about you. After seeing Mia and bidding farewell to my dad, I didn't head to the Carters or the Hawthorns. Instead, I stayed near the airport to prep for my flight to the US the next morning. I always knew Elena was capable, but I didn't expect her to move so fast. Barely 30 minutes into my hotel stay, Elena showed up with Mia. Seeing those 2 identical faces and matching outfits, I was momentarily taken aback. "Elena, dressing up like this? What are you doing here?" I asked after a brief daze, recalling how things between us had changed. My voice was cold, devoid of warmth. Before Elena could answer, Mia broke free from her mom's hand and rushed towards me. "Dad, I've missed you!" Before, I would have immediately knelt to hug this child who was already up to my waist. But now, I quietly took a step back to prevent her fall, yet also avoid her touch. "Stop! Stay back! I am not your dad anymore." With my flight the next day, I didn't want any last-minute complications. I didn't want to give her hope only to let her down. My tone was stern, and Mia froze, looking from her mom to me before bursting into tears. "Dad, it's me, Mia! Don't you recognize me? Mom, tell Dad who I am. Did he forget like people do on TV?" Finally shaken out of her daze by Mia's cries, Elena knelt to scoop Mia up. "Dad doesn't forget. You just got so big Dad can't pick you up anymore. Look, isn't it the same?" She comforted Mia while signaling me to play along. Elena's voice, softer and deeper than I had ever heard, suddenly made everything click. She wasn't incapable of love. She just didn't love me. But I am Arthur, and I have always been a rebel. So what if the kid was born to her? We are divorced. Why should I pretend to play along? So I reiterated, Mia, listen up. I don't have amnesia. I know who you are. You are Elena's daughter. You used to be my daughter too, but not anymore. Don't call me Dad anymore, and stop bothering me. And you, Elena, don't think I don't know what you are scheming. Since you are here, let's make it clear. Since the kid was given to you, you are her only guardian. I hope you fulfill your responsibility as a mother. You don't have to do everything yourself, but at least provide some basic companionship. The teacher said she has been down lately, always daydreaming. We both know why that is. The Hawthorne Group is a big company with plenty of management talent. There is no reason you need to be involved in everything, right? Spend more time with her, do crafts, play games, read, exercise, all the things you threw onto me. Try not to skip out on them in the future. After saying all that, I didn't dare look at Mia's tear-streaked face, but I didn't miss the expression on Elena's face, full of confusion and anger. She got to be a mom in minutes while I spent 5 years raising that kid for her. If I didn't speak up, she might think feeding a child was all there was to it. I didn't acknowledge the look on her face as she struggled to speak. I just pushed them out the door. It's late. Take her back and don't come here again, I said as I slammed the door, letting them knock in vain. As I heard their footsteps fade away, I couldn't hold back the tears any longer. I am sorry, Mia. Your dad had to push you away. Grow up strong and brave. I don't remember how I fell asleep, but when I woke it was already 6. There were 3 hours until my flight. After a quick shower, I thought I would hit the nearby mall, maybe pick up a few things. Also, I wanted to take a last look at this city I had lived in for almost 30 years. Who knows when I will be back? Seems like fate loves to mess with me. Before I got out the door, the notification came in saying my flight was delayed. I could deal with that. But the worst part? I opened the door, and there was Elena's emotionless face again. Already frustrated, she had the nerve to show up. To not bother others, I pulled Elena into the room. Elena, what brings you here today? Elena has this bad habit. Whenever she is in the wrong, she either hesitates or says something ridiculous. This time was no different. I couldn't let it slide, so I went in hard. Last time you were supposed to see a doctor. Looks like you didn't take it seriously. First you were talking nonsense, and now you can't even speak properly. Do you act this way with him too? Him? Who? What are you talking about? She wasn't stuttering now, playing dumb instead and even sounding impatient. Julian, the one you are always thinking about. What? Too scared to admit it? Or am I mistaken? I'm not letting her off easy. If she is going to come running after me, she better own up. There is nothing like that. I don't know what you are talking about. I didn't have time to waste. Why are you here today? Elena's quick denial caught me off guard. This woman, usually so bold, now invoked pure disdain from me. I am here to bring you home, Elena spoke cautiously, more than ever before. I admit I ignored you in the past, and I'm sorry. My dad pushed me into marrying you, and I never truly acted like a wife. That is my fault. But Arthur, whether you believe it or not, you do matter to me. I just don't understand love or how to love. If she had shown a bit of genuine regret or admitted outright she didn't love me, maybe I would give her a slight benefit of the doubt. But her constant denial made me not want to waste another second on her. No, Elena, it's not that you can't love. You know love more than anyone. You love your kids, your parents, and the person in your heart. You just can't love me. It is clear why you are here. The kid is hard to handle and you are stuck without your free babysitter. You have come to trick me into going back. But Elena, I am a living person, not an object. I owe you nothing. You have taken more than 10 years of my life. Isn't that enough? I have always played the part of a good Hawthorne. Honest, hard-working, never overstepping. What, did I disturb your ancestors in a past life or commit some heinous crime to deserve this torment? Even after divorce, you won't leave me alone. By the end, I was sobbing uncontrollably. I have never understood why she married me despite not loving me, or why she keeps hurting me even though I am the one suffering. I did everything right, but she never saw me. But it is her inaction that led to her father's contempt for me and the kids changing every time they came back. More than anything, I despise Elena. She is the real villain here. Seeing my resolve, Elena left in disgrace, her apologies falling on deaf ears. I just knew from today I want nothing to do with her ever again. At noon, after nearly a 3-hour delay, the plane finally took off. Once we broke through the clouds, I felt my heart finally settle. From now on, I am no longer anyone's accessory. I am just me. Just Arthur. Maybe it was all the tension finally releasing, but I soon drifted off to sleep. In my dreams, my dad appeared again, smiling and wishing me well, regretting saying goodbye. Then Mia's face showed up. Scenes from her birth to her tear-streaked face yesterday flashing by like a slideshow in my mind. In my dream, her cries for Daddy cut deep, tearing my heart apart. Just as I was about to reach out and hug her, the turbulence yanked me out of my sleep. Oh, it was just a dream. The early light broke through. A fresh start. After hours of flying, the plane finally landed. A gentle breeze brushed by, smelling like freedom. Thanks to the years of support from 2 families, my college registration went smoothly. Next came the organized chaos of finding housing, shopping, and setting up my new place. Busy but not overwhelmed, life felt fulfilling. While in school, I picked up old hobbies and joined various events and activities. From piano and violin solos to debate contests, even national competitions, a busy life brought me joy. Apart from sometimes missing my child, I didn't spend nights sleepless anymore. Time flew by. Soon it was winter again. Back home, they were prepping for the new year. These past months, I hadn't contacted anyone back home or checked on their lives. The Hawthorns were none of my business, and my mom had a new family now. Seemed like everyone was doing just fine without me. As the clock ticked on, it was 3 days until New Year's Eve. Even though I wasn't going back home, I was prepping for the new year. It was my first time celebrating it alone, and I didn't want it to feel too shabby. I planned to visit a welfare house and senior center to see the elders and kids, maybe even get myself a dog for some company. New Year's Eve. As I hummed cheerfully prepping dinner, the doorbell rang. I didn't know anyone here. At this hour, who else could it be but the property management? When I checked the video doorbell, it was as expected. Elena. I didn't open the door. I called management to handle it, then got back to making dumplings, relishing in being busy. Before long, the doorbell rang again. Just as I was about to get annoyed, I heard a familiar voice. It was my mentor. She speaks fluent Mandarin and is this graceful, efficient woman who settled in the U.S. with her parents when she was young. Professor Julianne is my senior by 5 years, already a professor while I am still a student. We haven't known each other long, but she has left a good impression. Humble, polite, composed, and attentive. With her help and encouragement, I have managed to adapt to the intense study load quickly. My mentor didn't come in. She said she didn't want to inconvenience me. She just happened to be nearby, dropping off some things and checking in. I appreciated the gesture, but felt uneasy. I am scared of interacting with the opposite sex like this. Her not coming in eased my nerves a bit. After a brief chat, she left, reminding me to stay safe and not to open the door to strangers. She wanted to invite me over for New Year's, but I declined. Regardless of how close we were, I wasn't ready to get too involved with someone else's family. Elena didn't come back for the rest of the day. I didn't know what management did, but it was for the best. During this short break, I visited elders and kids, met prestigious professors, and explored admired buildings from foreign lands. I learned lots of new things I hadn't known before. Turns out I could live well without others' protection. The world outside is so big and fascinating. When I first got married, I thought I had found my safe harbor, but through all the stormy days and nights, it was all on me to pull through. Now, away from that home, I see a world full of sunshine. The storms here are nothing compared to those back there. 2 years flew by since that last meeting, and I graduated smoothly. The people I didn't want to see never showed up, and my dreams were free from them too. After saying goodbye to my teacher and classmates, I started my journey back home. I didn't expect to find my seat neighbor on the plane to be her. My mentor, Professor Julianne. Professor, Roy, what are you doing here? I would rather think I am overthinking this because in the past 2 years I had turned her down many times. I hadn't told her my exact return date either. Going home. Home? You're not… Yeah, she replied. I am originally from the city. Even after moving, I have always wanted to regain my citizenship. I remembered her mentioning hope for her application 6 months back, but I hadn't asked for updates. We chatted on and off during the flight, our conversations often punctuated by long silences. As the plane entered our country's airspace, she suddenly asked, Arthur, can I pursue you now? I was already groggy, so it took a moment to understand what she meant. What? What? I mean, now that I have returned to my country, can I pursue you? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Julianne? I am grateful for your affection, but I still feel the same. I am not worthy. I am a divorced guy more interested in a career than marriage. You are amazing, deserving of someone equally wonderful. Once more, I turned down her feelings. The wounds from an 8-year marriage still lingered, and my fear of marriage needs time to heal. Back home, I returned to City N. Here I made my childhood dream come true. I opened a guest house. Having been treated like a commodity growing up, I always yearned for my own home. Now I have one and can keep a light on for travelers. Through that glow, I see the child Arthur telling his faint figure, Arthur, thank you for being brave, for giving me today. We achieved our dreams. Moving on from the past with that childhood resolve, I have journeyed through year after year. No marriage chains, no emotional ties. I have fulfilled the wishes my father had for me. Another winter came as I set foot again on the city's homeland. First, I visited my father's grave to update him on my life. I secretly went to the school where Mia is studying now. Unfortunately, I didn't catch a glimpse of her until the very end. The bonds between people can be like that. Once they are exhausted, even if you brush shoulders, it is hard to meet again. As father and daughter, in the end, we drifted apart. Elena's epilogue. I first met Arthur 2 years after my breakup. He was just a 17-year-old boy back then, but he was already handsome and stood tall with the refined air of an intellectual family in every gesture. Maybe because of preconceived notions and pressure from my dad, I didn't like him per se, but I didn't dislike him either. Being born into a wealthy family, we both felt like we had no choice, me and Arthur both. Our routine interaction slowly began to change over time. My feelings for him became complicated. I started to care about how he felt. I began standing up to my dad for him and protected him in every way. The way he looked at me wasn't timid anymore. He got bolder, calling me Elena Sis when he was happy, and by my full name when he was mad. When I was 25, we got married, just like everyone hoped. To make sure he didn't neglect his studies, I started coming up with all sorts of excuses to dodge the family's pressure to have kids. Until that unexpected moment, we seeded our hopes, and the next summer Mia arrived right on cue. Later, I missed the 100th day celebration of our kid because of work, leaving him, who was naturally shy, to handle the whole event alone. I can even imagine the harsh words hurled at him at that gathering. Knowing I was wrong, I tried to make it up to him later by spending as much time as I could with him and the kid. But it seemed he didn't need me much. He was completely absorbed by the kid, looking at me not with love but indifference, like I was a stranger. So I sent our kid back to the old house, hoping Arthur might focus a little more on me. But I didn't expect that moving the kid away would change his attitude toward me. I started to reflect on myself and brought Mia back, but she was spoiled by then. She got used to the lax environment of the old house and kept wanting to go back all the time. Half a year ago, Julian returned to the country and mutual friends threw a welcome party for him. It was the first time we met again after years. We resisted hugging, but I couldn't shake the urge to see him. Maybe my strange behavior was too obvious because Arthur asked for a divorce. In panic, I lashed out at him. Since that day, I cut ties with Julian, and Arthur never mentioned divorce again. Our lives returned to normal. Until our anniversary. Julian suddenly said he was getting married and wanted me to meet his fiancée. I agreed without much thought. However, once I got to the place, I realized the fiancé was never there. He tricked me. As I stood up to leave, Julian, fueled by alcohol, hugged me from behind and confessed his love. He said he had never forgotten me over the years he was gone. Maybe it was vanity, but I didn't push him away immediately. But I didn't expect Julian to make such bold moves. Arthur's image flashed in my mind, and I snapped back to reality, pushing away the boy who had once filled my heart. I was scared to go home, scared to face Arthur. I was terrified he would find out I met Julian again. So I lied, saying I had a work thing, and stayed late at the office drinking alone. When I finally got home, it was the middle of the night. I figured Arthur would be asleep. I tiptoed in and turned on the light. But there he was, asleep on the couch. The noise woke him up. We had been married 7 or 8 years, and he had waited up for me countless times. He told me he couldn't help with my work, but he hoped I would feel the warmth of family when I came home. Honestly, I wished he would be a bit more selfish and just stop waiting because I didn't deserve it. That thought alone seemed to push him even further. Arthur insisted on divorce. He was firm. He didn't want me or the kid anymore. The divorce went through smoothly. Arthur moved out, but really he only took his own stuff. Anything connected to the Hawthorns he left behind. I thought he was just upset and would come back after a break. But no, he flew to City N the very same day and stayed away for over 20 days. When I finally sorted things out and went after him, I found out he had gone to City X to pray for his dad and grandparents who had passed away. The altitude made me feel sick, and I said things that hurt him. Thinking back, he must have been completely disappointed then. The next time I saw Arthur was the day before he went abroad. He had just come back. I was thrilled, but then I heard he was leaving to study more. Turns out since he first brought up the divorce 6 months ago, he had been planning for this. I tried bringing him back with our child, hoping for another chance, thinking of the kid. But I was dead wrong. From the moment he decided he didn't want me, he meant no one related to me either. If I was the executioner of his heart, Mia was an accomplice. We both killed the Arthur who was once all about us. The next day I went to Arthur's hotel. I wanted to show him I had changed, to win him back. I was wrong again. He hated me too much to ever return to the Hawthorns. He stripped me of my last bit of dignity, airing out all my wrongs over the years. I had nothing to say for myself. I bought a plane ticket and followed him, watching him thrive in a world without me. I had lost a boy who loved me. After Arthur left, Mia was like a different person. She turned from a chatterbox into a silent ghost. She wouldn't come near me, not even call me Mom anymore. I knew she blamed me for losing her dad, for not being responsible, for not correcting her attitude toward him. On New Year's Eve, I took her to the city where Arthur was. We knocked, but he didn't answer. He knew we were there, but didn't want to see us. Later, a graceful lady showed up. I recognized her, Arthur's mentor, the youngest female professor at the business school. She looked at him with nothing but love, and there was no fear or insecurity in him, only a shy, boyish smile. Arthur had changed so much. In just a few months, he seemed like a little sun radiating confidence. I didn't approach him anymore. Instead, with tears streaming down her face, Mia and I headed home. She bit her lip, holding back sobs. Our relationship fractured completely that day. We were mother and daughter, but just that, nothing more. Time went by. 2 years just flew past. That year, Arthur came back with that woman alongside him. They looked perfect together. Free of the Hawthorns, Arthur was living the life I wasn't cut out for. Back in the country, he had his own business, a home, a devoted partner. He finally didn't have to rely on anyone else. The young, lively heir of the Carters, the gracious Hawthorne's son-in-law, was gone. Now he was Arthur. Not just Arthur. He was a successful businessman, an investor, a B&B owner, a well-educated man. And now she moved south, and I moved north. Our paths would never meet again. This time, it was really over.